My number one piece of advice for those of you embarking on the build, in the middle of the build, or just trying to get the motivation to start the build is to do one thing every day. That's it, just one thing every single day. It keeps you focused on the build, it keeps you motivated, and it keeps you moving forward. It doesn't need to be anything huge. Sometimes it can be as simple as just making a list on a whiteboard. Sometimes it can be a whole day of wrenching. But I embark on every day with the objective of doing one thing on the truck, or 10 things on the truck, depending on what my day holds. Today, I'm gonna show you all the things I got done on the truck this week, and it was a lot. Let's go, Merricks Garage. I've been spending a lot of time with my dear old friend, the angle grinder. Seriously, you guys, this is the tool that helped build the Blazer. This was one of the first Milwaukee tools, one of the first power tools I bought for this build. And I couldn't do it without it. It does cutting, it does flat disc work, it does wire cup work. So I've been using this. This was a new wire cup just, maybe 2 weeks ago. And I've been wire cupping the entire frame to get all of the just surface rust. There was an old undercoating that was on there, all of the dirt, grime, mud, everything off of the frame. So I could prep it adequately, weld in the cross members that I wanted, box and plate where I wanted, and get it ready to get the body back on it. And I am stoked to say that I'm pretty much done. So it has been hit with a couple cans of Steel-It paint. I love this stuff. The Steel-It really just goes on great. It's impenetrable. It's stainless steel. You can weld through it. It doesn't get damaged easily. It's super durable. And it's this nice flat black, or this, I guess it's a satin. But yeah, frame's looking good. Ow, hit my head numerous times. But here you can see I haven't been able to paint this area yet, but it's all prepped. Same wing over there. Still got some detail work to do down around the shackle hangers and things like that, but overall, super stoked. This is the front area. I threw in those stiffeners as you guys saw before. So stiffeners, I did box as this section on both sides, and then obviously, ow, head again. You know how many times I've hit my head? Oh, it's ridiculous. So plated, stiff. So here's the deal on stiffening the frame. The reality is these things are designed to flex, and they flex quite a bit. I'm not boxing the frame because I think it's gonna break. I'm not boxing the frame to try and make it super rigid. I'm boxing the frame just to give it some reinforcement in certain areas and just tie it all together a little bit better. I don't think I'm gonna take any of the significant flex out of it. In fact, I don't want to. Quite honestly, once you drop the body on this, the motor, the axles that tie everything together, the flex does go down quite a bit, but the flex is not always bad. So do not get hung up on having to box your frame perfectly. I got a lot of questions from you guys as to how did I choose where to box it? I didn't, I just kind of figured it out. The long center section right there just obviously needed something. What I did run in the frame rails, I did drop a piece of conduit, like 1-inch conduit, and I burned it in along the frame rail so I can run my lines through it without having to worry about any interference and fit. Yeah, next step is gonna be finishing degreasing and prepping the body for a big, nice, healthy dose of some lizard skin. But the axle's back in its home back there, roughly. This thing looks awesome. It's gonna be so stinking cool. And then what am I doing today? Today, well, got a Dana 60 to build. I got my gears, my parts, my WD-40, my hammer, my axles. Engine's all ready. My outers are good to go on the Dana 60. It's time to get to work. Wrapping up stuff on the rear axle today, and I am replacing these studs. Part of what GM has done right is they've moved to metric for the most part. And so this is a metric, I think it's an M14 or something, stud. And it was not long enough to mount these wheels. And so I have swapped out the stud to a 9/16 that gives me enough depth of thread to make this work. So that is my new stud. There's the old stud side by side for comparison. And then here's some new Dana 60 studs up front. And what this allows me to do is run the same lug nut on all of them. So the part numbers are right here. I'm gonna put a link down below to my Amazon store that will have all the part numbers in there too. So this is what you need to convert the AAM over to a standard with a longer stud. Now check that this stud is long enough and not too long for your application. You may need to cut them down. Let's pull these off and hammer them out. If you are new to my channel, I want to say, what's up? Thanks for stopping by. I love square bodies. I love trucks, wheeling, family, fabrication, and just getting out and getting after it. And if that sounds like something that you are into, hit that subscribe button. Make sure you're following along. Click the bell for notifications, and let's go. Merricks Garage. Quick Draw brand has come on board as a partner with Merricks Garage, providing me the bell housing, flywheel, and clutch kit that I'm going to need to mate the Tremec to the 6BT. And I just want to thank them. They produce a ton of quality parts for transmissions and adapters of all flavors. They're a big diesel house. So if you are in need of some adapters, diesel parts, go ahead and check out Quick Draw. You will not be disappointed. They've been good guys to work with, and I appreciate them sending this over for me to mate the Tremec to the Cummins. So today we're going to be throwing the flywheel and the adapter plate on, and I'm going to go through my regimen of Loctiting everything, and then I hit it with what's called cross-check torque seal. I can't get enough of this stuff. I really do dig it. It's a really good way to visually confirm that you've done everything you need to do, meaning everything is torqued, everything is Loctited, and then you mark it, you can move on confident, knowing that you've done that part of the build already. I went with a 5-speed because I like the simplicity and reliability of a manual gearbox. A lot of people thought the Allison would be a good match behind this, and they're right, it's a great transmission, but it requires quite a bit of electronics. And I don't want electronics on this build. I want it to be simple. And there's nothing more simple than an all-gear gearbox and clutch setup. So I didn't go crazy. I'm just using an off-the-shelf Chevy clutch, something that could be bought at the parts store. If it doesn't hold, then I'll upgrade it. But the ability to go replace it at the parts store, should anything happen, is cool. So let's get this clutch installed. I've already got the flywheel on here. As you can see, I've had the clutch sitting on the shelf. Let's throw it in. When we're installing the clutch on the flywheel, it's important that we have a very clean mating surface. And although this is new, it's been getting hammered with all the dust and the crap in my shop. So I'm going to clean it off before I put this on here. This is my clutch disc. You can see it's going to say on here, flywheel side. There's my flywheel. Flywheel's already been installed, Loctited and everything, so I know it's good. This is going to get installed using the guide tool, and then we will put the pressure plates on the back. So let's get this thing cleaned up. It's not that it's not going to get dirty in here. It is going to get very dirty in here, but you want to make sure that the clutch material can transfer onto the flywheel so you can have a good engagement, kind of like when you're bedding brakes. So get this thing nice and dialed. Let that dry for a few seconds. Let's get our clutch set up. So the material on the clutch, you're going to see this is the clutch material that's going to bite onto the flywheel surface. The surface of the flywheel, or the job of the flywheel, is actually twofold. First of all, it's going to give you a starting point, so the starter will spin this and turn the engine over. It's also a very heavy, massive weight, where the objective is that it's going to smooth out the idle or the any roughness or some of the roughness of the engine, just due to its inertial mass. It is a big, heavy-duty item. Okay, let's get this guy installed. This I just took out of the packaging, so it should be fairly clean. There's one started. Two. And then these get snugged down to 45 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. One thing every day, even if it's just a little thing, it is still one thing that you are doing that is getting you closer to finishing the build. If you still need more motivation, I'm going to put some videos up here that have me getting stuff done. It doesn't look like much, but you've seen the truck finished, so you know that it works. So get out there, get after it, and finish your build, you slacker.